have 3 favorite scary movies.
Por que a gente deixou o Nathan lá, no chão?
Hi, Miss Palmer. First of all, I'm a huge fan. I love most of your horror movie. Actually, I love all of your horror movie. Lights Out. I was blown away with the ending of the twins. I'll never see the plot twist coming.
Really?
O seu filho fez desejo e ele foi concedido.
How surprised you were when you read the script for the first time?
I also didn't see the plot twist coming. I could not believe it. I was like, wait, did I just read that? Oh my gosh. Because I was already, I was explaining actually in the last interview that I had to read the script over 2 days because I was like right in the middle of shooting A Discovery of Witches. And it was a particularly like intensive period of time on set because it was the last episode and I was just so focused on A Discovery of Witches. So I read half of the script one day and then I dreamt all about the script that night. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm obviously really digging this script because I was dreaming about it. I couldn't wait to tell my husband about it. Then the next day I read the second half and that's when I read the plot twist. And I was at work and I was like, what? Oh my God. People were like, what did you just read? And I was trying to explain it to people and it was so exciting. And I just thought it was so well done. And then, of course, you go back and you see all the little red herrings and it was just brilliantly done. I was so happy.
Hey, Elliot. Mãe!
I could feel the tension, like you were acting really scared, and there's some moments that I was scared too, like a very intense scenes. So there was any creepy, weird story from behind the scenes while you guys were shooting the movie? In that old
not
house?
on this movie. Not really on this movie. I have had it before, but on this movie, the only thing is that the houses were creepy. There was this one house in the movie. It's Barbara's house, who plays Helen. So I go to Helen's house and I knock on her front door. And so the outside of Helen's house was one house that we shot at. And then when it cuts to me walking inside, that's actually a separate location. That's a different house. So we used 2 houses to portray Helen's house, the outside and the inside. So the house that we used to portray the outside of Helen's house, that is an officially haunted, terrifying house. And it's just known in Estonia as a really haunted house. And it feels horrible in that home. Like it feels disgusting. It's a dilapidated, empty house. And it's just got a really amazing outside. That's why a lot of people shoot at this home. But when for the scene, I had to knock on the door, open the door, and go in and shut the door behind me. But all the crew were outside filming, and I have to go inside the house on my own. So, and I have to wait till they say cut before I ran back out. And I would sprint out of that house. I'd be like, please say that. Did they say cut? Quick, I need to go. And there was only ever one person in there with me with a radio being like, okay, they said cut, you can go back outside. It was so terrifying. It smelled of cats. So I guess the old owner had about 85 cats living in there. And there was still like really weird things on the walls. And apparently someone died in there. And it just had a heavy energy. So that is what I didn't love about shooting this movie. It was terrifying. Ooh.
Uau!
Eu tenho bom pressentimento sobre esse lugar.
And what audience can expect from the twin?
Audiences can expect a thrilling adventure. It is terrifying and psychological, and you won't know what's real and what's not. And I think that's horrifying in and of itself. And then, of course, there's like the devil elements and the darkness, and it's scary, but also messes with your head. It's a great family drama buried in this horrifying situation.
And what are your favorite scary movies?
I have 3 favorite scary movies. My first favorite scary movie was a movie that I watched many years ago called The Sixth Sense. M. Night Shyamalan. I loved it. I'm a sucker for twists. I love a twist. He's known for his twists. I just thought it was such a great movie, and I still have those disturbing images of like the one character with like the burns all down the side of their face. So that was a favorite scary movie. Wolf Creek was another one. It was shot here in South Australia. I actually was a little extra in that movie.
You were in the pool party scene. I remember.
I'm jumping in the background. I've got my little bikini on. I was trying so hard to get in front of the camera. I was like, like all I wanted to do was be an actress. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to jump right in front of the camera to try and like get on screen. And it's really funny because I've since then had fans screenshot me in the background where they're like, there's Teresa Palmer, she's in the background, which is just so funny. But that movie was great because the character of this sadistic serial killer is, you meet him and you think he's just this really great jovial guy from the bush, and it's such a great performance. So I really appreciate that movie, and it's based on the backpacker true crime killings here in Australia in the 70s. And so I really loved that film. And then my last favorite film is Midsummer. Ari Aster. Genius.
Creepy.
He hooks you in with the story because I was so just in with the lead character, with Florence Pugh's character, and she played her so beautifully, and I thought, oh wow, they're exploring this new culture, like what could possibly go wrong? And then and I love that it was so bright. It was really sunny and bright and seemed really jovial and exciting, and then it just got more and more and more disturbing. And a lot of horror films have that dark element to them, but this was like really bright and sunny and shiny and happy, and then it made it even more disturbing to me.
And there's any horror franchise, like a famous horror franchise that you like to be a part of?
Well, I loved The Conjuring. I would have loved to have been in The Conjuring. I was in a horror franchise, actually one of my first movies that I ever did was called The Grudge 2. And I think they went on to make a number of Grudges. I actually don't know how many they're up to now, but I was in the second one. And that was the second thing I ever auditioned for in my life. I came to America and I just auditioned for something. It was the second thing I did, and I ended up booking The Grudge 2. So that was fun to be a part of that. But yeah, so I don't know, The Conjuring would have been really cool.
And Lights Out was supposed to be like a franchise too. I'm still waiting for the second movie. Do you think
the amount of times I've checked in with my agents being like, hey, so what's happening here? And it just never came off the ground. I think it's kind of hard because the ghost dies in the end. So it's like, where do we go from here? What does that second Lights Out look like?
And to finish the interview, another subject. You started a movie with Nick Cage, The First Apprentice. And now Hollywood seems to have recognized again how amazing actor Nicolas Cage actually is. Do you recall how it was to working with him? Do you have like any story with the actor to share?
Oh, I really thought he was so lovely. He was great. And I was so young when I did that movie. I was probably in my early 20s. And so I was still a little bit in awe that I was in a movie with Nicolas Cage. But he was such a great, actually really down to earth, had a funny sense of humor. He had I just remember he had a lot of really cool rings with lots of different colored gems on them. And he he'd always come in and be like, "Hey, Teresa, how you doing?" And he had that voice, and that really iconic voice. But I don't really have any real stories, to be honest, just other than I really enjoyed him. I really loved being around him, and he made me laugh a lot. He's got a really good sense of humor, and I don't know how many people know that about him, but and he's really loyal to the people he works with. But he's a legend.
Miss Palmer, thank you very much. I love to talk to you.
Thanks for noticing me.
Message to Brazilian fans to go watch the twins at the movie theaters.
Yes. Hey, everyone, go check out The Twin. It is now out in theaters. It is scary, horrifying, psychological, and such a fun ride. I hope you really love the movie. Bye.
Thank you very much. Beijo do Brasil.
Mwah. Bye.
Ele é reflexo de suas emoções e sentimentos.
Gêmeo Maligno, 11 de agosto nos cinemas.